Jonathan,
Hey.
we have both seen Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, we have. Yes,
And we
yes.
wanted to get together and talk about it for everybody out there through that lens. And my first thought when I saw this was, okay, this is definitely Elder Scrolls. It's big. It includes all these areas that we've known and loved, plus new areas such as the Kaji homeland and places like that.
I remember there was also Hammerfall as well too, and a bunch of other places referenced in past Elder Scrolls games, but
Right.
never were in until now, actually.
Right. But also places that we recognize. You know, we're going back to Morrowind and Daggerfall and Skyrim.
A little bit of Skyrim
course,
as well,
yeah.
and the underground Dwarven caves, because all the robots and this.
Sure,
those
the
universe.
Dwemer caves
Thank
and things
you,
like
Dwemer,
that. Yes,
yes,
absolutely.
yes.
So you're going to get some of those robotic enemies that you expect to see, the ones that were, that you saw in Skyrim and the ones that you saw in Morrowind.
Yeah.
And, they're obviously trying to have that flavor, and clearly it's a different engine than what we're used to seeing.
Yep. But I don't know. I just feel that this may be. It's like Bethesda is just retreading World of Warcraft, except with their own flavor and lore.
They're at least trying. I mean, there are some aspects that I appreciate. At least they're trying to be very minimum with the interface. For one, the hotbars are only there when you hover over them. For example, there are interface elements that are only there if you hover over. So they're trying to at least clean up the screen, and they're trying to be very action combat-y. And this one, I'm not sure how far they're going with the action combat. That you can block in real time, as they've said. You can block anytime you want. There's no limits on that. And they want to get away from typical cooldowns. They want to make sure that we have the typical magicka, stamina, health bars that we're
you
used
can
to seeing in Elder
access like
Scrolls.
anytime, depending on your timings. I also remember that if you have like a mage and you have like another warrior come in, you can actually do some tag team attack. Like I remember, like the mage was casting a fire spell.
Yep.
The warrior comes in, he does this whole whirlwind of flame that just kills everything just around.
Right.
Yeah.
And their whole thing is that you don't have to be grouped to do that. You can come in and you can both get rewards even if you're not grouped together. But I do, I'm with you on the other hand that, all told, what they talked about, some of it sounded nice, but I don't know that I'm blown out of the water that this is anything other than every MMO we've ever played before. And an example I would use is they wanted to talk about, how it's going to have the flexibility and the adventure aspect of Elder Scrolls, something that we want to see in Elder Scrolls Online because it's not really typical of the MMO genre. And yet, in describing how that's going to happen, basically we were told, well, let's say you're going off to do a quest and you want to go over here and explore. There might be a quest giver over there with something for you to do.
Yeah.
And that was the example of something that allows you to choose your own adventure and play as you see fit. And my thing, my response to that is every MMO does that. You're not actually describing to me anything unusual or
That's
different.
new or very different.
Yeah.
I remember they were also doing some sort of like, whatever you do this one quest, if you do it halfway with one choice, you can actually get some repercussions in the end. But that's really hard to tell unless you actually play through the game. And it just feels like what they're describing to me is what they did in KOTOR. Sorry, the Old Republic. The Old Republic.
Right, and it's true. I mean, they gave the example of, well, if you complete the quest with this choice, in this case, it was saving the life of someone rather than killing.
Past.
In the past, then that person will live and they'll have a quest for you when you return to the future. On the other hand, if you completed it a different way, a different character would give you a different quest. But to me, all that means is, you complete it, but there's no real ramification. I simply get a different piece of content at the end, that's divvied up. People will either get this piece of content or this piece of content, but there's no real ramification.
And it's a result. It just feels a little too cosmetic for our tastes, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I on one hand, I'm excited because I want this big area. They're clearly going for big. You have 3 factions. This is 1,000 years before Skyrim, so you have, essentially races split into 3 factions, right?
Yep.
So they're going to be starting areas all over the place. It's going to be big. It's going to have all these places that we want to explore. So from that perspective, I'm excited because I like the genre. I like fantasy, and so I'm anxious to see it. But
yeah, I know it's like the same thing over and over again, but I don't know. I mean, I even saw a little bit of the PvP that we've shown. Like, it looks like a group, big bunch of guys doing melee attacks and stuff with swords. But we were told that they might actually plan to expand that further, like have siege battles and catapults coming in, make it more warlike and dynamic, like making sure like whoever gets a throne gets to change crowns and stuff, like different factions to get, depending on how you play it. But again, and also let's not forget that I remember that the guys from ZeniMax, Bethesda Online, or ZeniMax Online,
ZeniMax
they,
Online, yeah.
yeah, they actually were part of the Dark Age of Camelot team.
Yeah,
so
they're
I
Mythic
think they can
guys
do the
coming
Siege
over.
thing work.
Yeah, I think they'll do it well. But that's the thing. We've seen a lot of this before, and we're kind of split, right?
Yeah.
We liked what we saw because they're going for big. We like big. On the other hand, they're not. It doesn't seem all that special, and we're looking forward to seeing more. But right now, we're cautiously optimistic. I think is how we come away with Elder Scrolls Online.
I've got a crazy notion. Like, what if they were to make? Would there any chance we would make this game free to play, like most other MMOs?
I think that they've got a brand that will carry a retail release, but we will see. Elder Scrolls Online is slated for 2013.
Yep.
So thanks for listening to Jonathan and I talk about our impressions.
And it's going to be on the PC only, right?
It is PC only. Yep.